Hi, I'm Mr. Fred from GetMeCoding.com, and this is the third in a series of tutorials that are introducing you to the structured query language, also known as SQL or SQL. So in this particular tutorial, I'm going to demonstrate the use of what's known as a join. Anytime that you need to pull data from two or more database tables, you have to make use of what's called a join. This particular example is going to be an implicit join syntax. Next time, I'll show you an explicit join syntax. Once again, we're going to be using Star Wars data, which makes it a lot more fun, and you can download it for free in the comments section, or you could go over to visit GetMeCoding.com, where you could also see some other information and other downloads. Okay, so if you like this video, please share it, and more importantly, if you have any questions, put them down in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Hi everyone. All right, we're going to step now into the third in our sequence of tutorials that are dealing with select statements. And in this one, we're going to go over the implicit join syntax for a select statement. So there are two types of join syntaxes that are currently out there in relational databases. There's implicit joins and explicit joins. In this video tutorial, we cover the implicit join. So let's do that. We're going to create a new query here using our Star Wars data that's free to download down in the comments section. And to do this query today, let's create a query that's going to display the person and the species that they belong. So to do that, we're going to retrieve data from the people table, and we're going to display the people name, and we're going to retrieve data from the species table and display the species name. Whenever you want to pull data from two or more different tables, you're going to utilize what's known as a join. Now, in the implicit join syntax, you're going to see that it's formatted a little bit different than the explicit join syntax. But both of them are built on the concept of joining or connecting or setting equal to the primary key of one table to the foreign key of another. So when we look at the people table here, we could see that both have primary keys. But if we were to look at the diagram, we would notice that there is also a people species ID in the people table. And here it is going to be related to the primary key in the species table. How do I know that? Well, we will review the ERD, which is also available to view down below in the comments section. So let's go ahead and build it. We're going to say select people name and the species name. And now here's where we start to make this a little bit more advanced than the simple select statements in the prior tutorials. From people, comma, species. To do the join in the implicit syntax, we place it directly in the where clause. And we specify it using the table name dot column name notation. So here we're going to say people dot people species underscore ID. Oh, I believe I spelled that wrong. Hold on. And that's the people table. And then we set that equal to species dot species ID. Once again, we're joining the foreign key from the people table to the primary key of the species table. Once we have that in place, we can run our query, and we see that there looks like there's an error down here. Now, debugging errors is just as important as getting it to work. So when we look at this, we start to see that the errored area is underlined in red. And if we double click it, it really doesn't help us much, but if we do double click the error, it will highlight the line of code where the error may exist, or is the line preceding to where the error may exist. And obviously you could see my error is due to my typing, and I need to change my spelling of people here. And there we go. So now we'll run our query, and we see that we also have another error. It says invalid column name people underscore species underscore ID. Now, why is that creating an error? Once again, if we go in here and we look at this field in the people table, we'll see it's people species underscore ID, and we've spelled it wrong again. So one of the things you can make use of is the autocomplete that often appears inside of a tool like Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. By starting to type and have the autocomplete appear, you can make your typing a lot easier. So now we can run our query and we get the results. We can see the people name from the people table and the species and the corresponding species name from the species table. So once you have this implicit join, what else can you do? If, for example, you need to join to a third table, you would simply then utilize what's known as an and that would then be followed by the next join syntax. So let's modify our query that's going to display the people, the species, and the planet that they're from. To get the planet, we can come down in here and we could see that if we have our planet table, we'll go into the columns and we'll see that there's planet ID. Now, once again, having reviewed the entity relationship diagram, I could see that the people homeworld ID is the foreign key that connects to planet ID. So the first thing we'll do is in our from clause, now we're going to add the planet table. And to do the join, we're going to join it from the people table to the planet table. To do that, we'll say people homeworld ID equals planet ID. We'll make one last change, and we want to make sure that we also see the name of the planet. And if we go over here to the planet table, we can see that that field is planet name. So now I'll add that. To my select clause list and run the query. So now I see the name of the person or the alien, the species, and the planet that they're from. If you needed to add a fourth table, you would continue on with adding another and then doing the join and so on. So this is one variation of how to do a SQL select join using the implicit syntax. The implicit syntax is a little bit older than the explicit syntax, but you do still come across certain applications that make use of this older syntax instead of the new syntax. So I hope this helps as you continue building your SQL knowledge. And may the force be with you.